Hi everyone, my name's Anne Marie. Welcome to Card Making Project 630. Now today we're going to make a gorgeous card and we're using a good selection of our products, both old and newer, shall we say. Now I want to run through the products that we're going to use from Anna Griffin, and everything I do use will be listed on my blog, so please be sure to check it out. There's also extra photos on there as well of the projects, so both inside and outside of the card. Now the first thing that we're going to use is a newer product, and it's the Fanciful Layers Cut and Emboss Folders from Anna. We're going to use the folder that's called Blossoming Wreath. Now these are gorgeous because you put them through your machine with your cardstock in the middle, and not only do they emboss, but they actually cut the outer fancy edge as well. So it's like all in one. Absolutely beautiful. We're also going to use, now this is the older product, and it's from the Fretwork Die collection from Anna from a few years ago. This die here, and it is one of my favourite dies. I've not used it for a long time, but it really is very versatile. So we're going to use that. You could substitute it, if you don't have that one, you could substitute it with many of the dies that you've probably got in your stash. We're also going to use the concentric frame dies. We're going to use from the rectangle shape, we're going to use the shadow layer, and then we're also going to use from the concentric dies the fancy layer, the large fancy layer, and the middle size fancy layer, and the oval fancy layer, but not the smaller oval in the middle. So let's make the card, because you know this is going to be an absolutely gorgeous card. I say that every time, but you know they all are. Take your pick on the blog, because there's so many well, there's 630 Anna Griffin tutorials. So my base card is 7 by 5 inches, and I am going to use my bone folder to make sure that that crease is nice and sharp along the edge. I've already added my handmade by stamp, and I've added my name as well and the project number. You don't have to add your project number, but you know, add your name so the recipient knows who's made the card for them. Now, for the actual inside of the card, I'm not going to add a sentiment, because this card is a thinking of you card, and I figured that, you know, maybe for a thinking of you card, you don't always want to have a sentiment in the inside. You want enough space to be able to write a message to tell somebody that you're thinking of them, and, you know, if they need anything, they know where you are, etc. So you maybe want an extra bit of space for that. So the base of the inside of this card is a 6 by 8 by 4 by 8 inches rectangle of cardstock in the Anna Griffin Gold Metallic. Now I've actually used a corner punch from my own stash just to round the corners for the insert. So I've got flat double-sided adhesive tape on the back, and I'm just peeling the carrier sheet away, and I'm going to just add that to the inside of the card, just on one side. And then I've used the fancy reticulated die to not only die cut this, but as a stencil. And I want to show you how I did it. So I die cut it using the concentric die, and the die was over the cardstock like so. After it's a die cut, I kept the die in position, and then using my blending brush I just lightly blended the ink into it, and I used Ranger Distressing peeled paint. So I just simply, very lightly, using circular strokes with my brush, stenciled through these holes. Now, the holes that are there, some of them die cut, some of the fancy out, but some of them leave enough gap to be able to pick up the colour like that. So you could use any colour. It was just so happened that I thought that's going to match everything else that we're going to do. So that's our insert panel, and this is where you put your long message. Sometimes you don't even need a sentiment on the inside because somebody knows you're thinking of them from the outside. So we're just going to position this over the top of our previous layer. Just get it nice and straight and press that down. There we go. And that is our insert. Oh, that looks so fancy. On the darker background, because of the stencil that we've used, the brush and blending method, it just really highlights it. Now we can go to the front. Now the front is going to match perfectly to the inside. And I know really it should be the other way around. The inside should match to the outside, but it's just, the way I film it. So when I prepare it, I normally prepare the front first. Now our first layer for the outside is some damask cardstock from Anna Griffin. And I've chosen green because I know some of you, it's not your most popular colour, but this will work perfectly for this card. I've used the concentric scalloped edge die. I've got 3D foam on the back, and I'm simply going to position that on the front of our card and then press it down. Our next layer is the concentric fancy die that we've used for the inside, and we've used the gold metallic cardstock from Anna, 3D foam on the back, and I'm just going to position this over the top of our previous layer. Press it down. There we go. Next, I have the Fretwork Die. Now, do you remember how I said it's very versatile? So I've die cut the full fretwork out in gold mirrored cardstock, and I've cut it in half. Straightforward, straight in half, and I've got one piece of double-sided tape on it, and I am simply going to position it to the bottom of our card. There we go. And then the second half, I'm going to just turn the card round and add that to the top of our card, like that. There we go. So we've got top and bottom of the fretwork. Next, I've taken the inner fancy die from the actual concentric frame dies, and I've used the same green damask cardstock. I've got 3D foam on the back, and I'm just going to pop that over the centre of the fretwork die that we've just added and press that down. Our next layer is the actual fanciful layers, the cut and emboss, and this was the blossoming wreath. Now I've used the gold metallic cardstock. It embosses beautifully. I've got 3D foam on the back, and I'm just going to position that over the top of our previous layer and press that down. Now I'm going to do something that we've done last week, and I think we did it the week before, because I really like this effect, and it's kind of using your stickers with an embellishment and slotting them together. Now I've got 3D foam on just part of mine because it's going to hang over the edge at the top. These are the stickers from my mini favourite flower stickers from Anna. This is the centre oval die that I've cut out using gold shiny cardstock, and I'm simply going to slot the leaf over the top of the section in the centre of the oval, like that. Then I'm going to take a second of the actual flower stickers and I'm going to do the same again, and I'm just simply going to slot the sticker to the edge of the gold embellishment like that and just get it in position. Press it down when I'm ready, and then I'm going to stick the whole thing onto the card, going to the centre of the previous layer and press everything down. I've then got a sentiment from the mini flower and sentiment stickers, and it says thinking of you. I'm going to peel the back away and I'm going to add that through the centre of the card like that, and then I'm just going to finish the card with a little bow underneath the sentiment. There we go, and that is our card finished. So pretty, and all those gorgeous layers, and you see how the green just works perfectly with the flowers, and the gold highlights everything. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous card. Lots of layers there, not too high though. It doesn't seem as high as some of them, even though there's a lot of layers on there. The inside matches perfectly. Remember, we've not put a sentiment in there for a change. You could do if you wanted to, you know, you could add something. And it's just such a beautiful card. The embossing and the detail in the layers really make it jump out. Please check my blog for other projects and lots of photos of this one and other projects. Don't forget to share with your crafty friends, and I always forget to say, please give me the thumbs up on YouTube if you're watching, because I always forget to ask you, and it's always great to hear from you as well, so I enjoy reading your comments and seeing what you think. So I would just like to say thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time.